I know this has been asked often, but I feel my situation is a bit unique. I'm a 23-year-old male and have been dating my girlfriend for almost a year. She's amazing, but I sometimes worry that she doesn't have hobbies or things she likes to do without me. I go to the gym almost every day, like to cook, and do other things that keep me busy, especially during the week after work. She currently lives at home while paying down her student loans, and I live on my own. Because of this, she has almost no responsibilities at home because her mom does everything: grocery shopping, cooking dinners, laundry, and so on. This is perfectly fine since her mom enjoys these tasks. But I find it leaves my girlfriend with a lot of free time that she doesn't really use productively. She hangs out with friends occasionally but is constantly asking to hang out with me. I want to see her, but it worries me that she doesn't have much going on without me. How can I handle this? Most posts I've seen mention that the girlfriend gets upset when the guy can't hang out, but this isn't the case here. She doesn't get mad and seems to understand when I just want to do my own thing, but she still doesn't have many activities she enjoys on her own, and that worries me. Edit. I failed to mention that we do a lot of things together, like golf, and I've brought her to the gym with me. She also has a full-time job. My concern is what she does when I'm not with her, or the lack thereof, if that makes sense. This is also my first very serious relationship. I had flings in college but could never take the girls I met seriously because it was a big party school. Thanks for all the advice. Story 1. I used to feel like this with my then boyfriend, now husband. I found that I adopted his hobbies the more time we spent together. For example, he introduced me to anime, interesting podcasts, different types of music, and shows. This inadvertently gave me the interest to enjoy those things by myself. Story 2. Try encouraging her to find her own social circles and activities. Otherwise, this sounds like the start of a codependent relationship waiting to happen. Story 3. If you like to cook, you could do a number of recipes together. It might encourage her to start going down that route herself. She gains an interest while also doing her mother a favor. Story 4. In my case, being a woman without hobbies who found a boyfriend with passionate hobbies, it was definitely a struggle at first. My problem was simply being genuinely uninterested in most things. I tried hard to think of things I would love to put effort and time into, and honestly, I still haven't found a good one. I don't know why I find it so hard. I know depression plays a part in the disinterest of hobbies, but it feels different than that. For me, it helps that my boyfriend pays attention to me. He is a Lego collector. I am not into building at all, but I love mini items, so I enjoy minifigures. He got me into Star Wars, so now he helps me collect Star Wars minifigures. I love cute animals, so Pokemon was a great one too. I am not worried about value, selling, or trading, so collecting cute Pokemon was perfectly stress-free. It's the little things. Ask her if she genuinely cannot find an interest and help her over time by noticing things she might not have noticed before. This did take years. I had no issue not having hobbies until my boyfriend told me it concerns him. I never really understood why, but I can see he just wants to know I have things that bring me joy. That also helps encourage me. Story 5. I'm not telling you to break up, but what I will say is the reason my last serious partner ended the relationship was because I didn't have anything that made me happy outside of them, and that was too much of a burden for them to bear. It's an unfair amount of pressure to put on a person. What happens when you're busy, in a bad mood, on vacation, or just not in the right headspace to be who they want you to be? I didn't understand it at the time, but later realized that I needed to be whole, complete, and content on my own before I was ready to be in a healthy relationship. We were too deep into the relationship for me to do that while still being in it. Talk to her about it. She needs to understand that she will never be truly happy or content with her life if she always has to rely on her partner for entertainment. Story 6. If you have friends who are in relationships, try a few group dates so she can meet new women and hopefully expand her friend group and interests. You might need to set some new boundaries, such as a schedule, and enforce it if you are feeling smothered or overwhelmed. However, do not tell her that you are feeling smothered or overwhelmed, as it might hurt her feelings. Story 7. What worries you specifically? You said she doesn't get mad when you're busy and leaves you to your own thing, which seems fine to me. It wouldn't be fair to try to make her do hobbies in her spare time if she doesn't want to and isn't infringing on you. Maybe her hobbies are watching television, lounging, or online shopping. All that should matter is that she doesn't impose on you or make you feel bad when you're busy. Story 8. You could suggest she explore new hobbies or classes that interest her and offer to join her occasionally to support her independence. Story 9. Open, honest communication with her sounds like the way to go. As long as you start from a position of concern and try to understand, rather than trying to make her change, it should go all right. She may even appreciate that you care that much. Story 10. She doesn't get mad and seems to understand when I just want to do my own thing. It sounds like there isn't really a problem. Sometimes we just want to be with our significant other whenever it is possible, without being codependent or scary. What does she do on those days when you cannot hang out? Do you know? Story 11. People telling you to run because of this is kind of extreme. I don't think it's that bad. If you're worried about it, maybe just tell her that she may benefit from exploring some new hobbies. She seems into you and probably values what you have to say. Also, in time, she may grow bored of not having hobbies and working so much, so she'll naturally change that herself. If she starts to get super clingy or angry that you cannot hang out, then that would be different, but it doesn't seem like the case here. Story 12. Haven't read the comments yet, but a 55-year-old male, skied, sailed, and played everything from hockey to rugby through college. She did not have much money growing up, so did not do much. We met in college and I did my thing. She came along when she wanted. We camped, sailed, went to concerts, and generally had fun. We made sure that each of us had one night a week when the child was born. No questions asked. Yes, you come home and call if things come up, to do whatever. For me, it has been sailing and skiing every week and on weekends for the last 25 years. The point is, do your own thing. She can handle whatever, and if she comes along, bonus. If not, you still have your activities and a marriage can stand on that. You absolutely do not need to do everything together. The together time is a bonus, and she will like and love you more for having your own interests. 30+ years together, and that works for us. Your mileage may vary. Story 13. She sounds like a homebody. Try to get her into home activities. Buy her some games like The Sims and let her explore. Just tell her you think she's cool when you can't hang out, but you also want her to enjoy her own company. Maybe a game like The Sims would be really enjoyable for her to play. I mention The Sims because it seems like a game that many girls tend to enjoy. Story 14. Think of it this way. She has friends she sees occasionally, a full-time job, and she is, by everything you've said, a pretty good young woman. Do you know what girls with busy social lives are usually doing? I'll give you a hint. You ignored them in college for a reason. Plus, when she's not with you, what does she do? Probably hangs out at home with her family. Look, if she's being clingy, that's one thing, but as you said, she doesn't get upset when you can't hang out. Story 15. This problem only gets worse with time. I was married to a woman like this. I was her sole source of entertainment. I ended up divorcing her because she was unmotivated to do anything. I felt like a dancing stuffed animal, an object. This situation becomes tiresome. Story 16. I would test and see if she likes what you like. For example, tomorrow there will be Ultimate Fighting Championship. I would say, Ultimate Fighting Championship is starting. Care to join? I would not mind if someone embraced all my hobbies. However, I would also wonder what she would do on her own before you. If you can get her to enjoy a grindy game, you are all set. If you both like that kind of game, you will have lots of quality time together, both happy. Story 17. I don't understand your concerns when she doesn't hassle you. If you can't hang out and are doing your own thing, and she is leaving you free to do as you wish, then I can't see why what she chooses to do or not do in her own time is an issue for you. Story 18. I went through this and it was not healthy. I felt bad and guilty when we did not hang out because then she would be on her own. Everyone needs their own life and hobbies, and I hope she finds that. Story 19. Hi, wife of 10 years here. I know this subreddit is Ask Men, so I realize this is not my place to chime in, but I'd like to offer some encouragement. I was in a similar place with hobbies and interests when I met my husband. I think it stemmed from not knowing myself very well and not knowing where to start with hobbies. Could that be the case with your girlfriend? Also, I fully agree with the people who have suggested letting her know how important this is to you and how seriously you need her to take it. I would add that her initial response might be defensive, but I don't think it will stay that way, so don't feel defeated if her initial response isn't ideal. Lastly, people definitely change, and I can say that I have plenty of my own hobbies now. I'm sure your girlfriend will find hers too. I can tell you care about her and wish you all the best. Story 20. She is incredibly bored, probably a bit embarrassed about that, and you have become her hobby. She likes talking to you, but she is having trouble finding happiness in other things. Should she have hobbies? Absolutely. Unfortunately, that's a difficult place to crawl your way out of. She sounds like she may be a bit depressed, which tends to lead to people doing nothing and feeling bad about doing nothing, so they sit around feeling bad. She needs some form of help that you probably aren't capable of giving and furthermore shouldn't come from you. This is the beginning of codependence. If she looks to you for the help she needs, and you feel like you have to be there for her, and she has to be there for you, that ultimately prevents either of you from being truly happy. I am not saying just break up or anything like that, but she actually needs her own help because she needs to be able to do this for herself. If you were that help, I don't think it would make either of you happier. I think a good start would be an obligated activity. School was it for many people, but you mentioned student loan debt, so I assume that is done. Many young adults struggle when they graduate because they lose that structure in their lives. They don't have to get up and go to class or do their homework. Does she have a job? Just having to go to work and do the thing every day can sometimes give people structure and energy, at least if they don't totally hate it. Again, if I'm totally off base, ignore me. Story 21. Went through this. It will only get worse. It is never healthy to be someone's everything. They must have other sources of fulfillment. Try to encourage her to make friends and find interests, or the dynamic will be set that your life is her life. Story 22. Wow. All of these comments lack grace. For every negative post about women or how they do not understand men, there is almost always a man who has hurt her emotionally. If you care about her as a person, even before considering her as your girlfriend, sit down with her like an adult and have a conversation about your feelings. Do not avoid the issue as many comments suggest. Explain the situation with love, grace, and understanding. Do your best to resolve the situation, then decide on the future of the relationship. You have a responsibility to her and to yourself to be open about your feelings and what you have to offer. Good luck. Story 23. Not having any hobbies is not really a red flag. She gives you space and is not clingy. She could be a low-energy person without the drive to find many hobbies. I noticed that extroverted people have a lot of energy and find reasons to leave the house every day, which may explain why they have many hobbies and socialize a lot. Introverted people may have hobbies that do not involve socializing with others, but they may also enjoy doing virtually nothing since they need to recharge. Just leaving the house, working, or even seeing their significant other drains them. Story 24. I have the same issue. Mine likes to follow me around like a little puppy. My suggestion is that when you spend time together, you give her your full and undivided attention. That means no phones or other distractions. Just focus on having fun together. While you might spend less time together overall, your time spent is meaningful. Story 25. It does not seem like you have a problem. She understands you need alone time or time with friends. So what is the issue? People overestimate the need for hobbies or activities. Some of us are perfectly content just doing whatever. Not having hobbies is not a red flag in my humble opinion. I think people make it out to be one because some are so outgoing and extroverted that they cannot imagine a world where someone might just enjoy sitting on the porch, listening to a podcast or reading a book, or just hanging out with their parents and doing whatever. To me, when people say not having hobbies is a red flag, they are just showing that they are the kind of people who are always doing something and cannot stand to have nothing to do. That just makes them incompatible with me. Story 26. I think that if she doesn't get mad when you are away, then there are no problems to worry about. I can understand how you would be worried because things can change. I would say find some things both of you can do together to increase and maintain that bond. It's like watering a flower. Just don't forget to do it. That's how it is for relationships in general. If this is a relationship where you two end up living together, She can learn a great deal from you. Yes, she could learn on her own, but it feels different when you are learning and growing with a partner. Trust me when I say you are living a scenario many men would dream of. Try not to overthink it too much. Story 27. Is she actually bored or lonely without you? Some people just like to do nothing. I'm asking because it doesn't sound like she is complaining about it. My girlfriend, for example, likes going out and spending time with me, but her alone mode is just to sit at home on her phone and let shows play in the background. It is boring enough that I sometimes feel guilty about it, but it is kind of her default recharge time. I'm just asking because your girlfriend was a whole person before you got together, and apparently having no hobbies was part of that. Story 28. It is possible that you two have different expectations about the amount of time you will spend together as a couple. Some couples spend as much time together as one partner wants, while others spend less time, as the other partner prefers. She may believe that she does not need external interests because you are a team and will do things together, while you have a different perspective. Story 29. As a girl with few hobbies, or at least hobbies that don't take up much time, maybe she is okay with just relaxing. I love hanging out with my boyfriend and would do it all the time if he wanted to, but I also understand he has his own interests and will do them without me. There are some hobbies he has introduced me to that we do together. At the end of the day, he can be off doing his hobbies and I will just be existing, and I am totally fine with it. My favorite hobby is taking a mental break and not having to do any activity. If she is happy and relaxed about not being with you all the time and doesn't make a big deal out of it when you say no, then maybe it is okay. Story 30. I was left by someone I thought was the one because I was in a similar situation to your girlfriend. I loved only her. I was all about her. But she said I didn't have anything else going on, so she left. What I am trying to establish is that this kind of thing leads to breakups. Not having hobbies is unhealthy. It causes people to focus on things they should not. My advice is to give her about a year, the time she needs to find a hobby or a side hustle or a business idea. She could start a podcast, read books, crochet, practice yoga, or do something else. Story 31. Brother, you became her hobby. It's natural. There is nothing wrong with that. Just include her in something, and if you are lucky, she will do some things on her own. Story 32. This is complicated. We do not know her. I have a very clingy partner. She has to work on it constantly because I am terribly independent. I work at giving her the level of attention she needs, but sometimes I have to tell her that it is time to back off, and we talk about it in a good way. Despite our issues, she is an excellent partner. All I can tell you is that you have to talk about how you can get the space that you need while giving her the attention that she needs. Story 33. If you do not want her, let me know. She sounds perfect. A woman who is okay with going out when and where you want. A woman who enjoys doing activities with you, potentially even activities you enjoy. Jackpot. It sounds like she will follow her mother and do housework when she is older, too. Bingo. Story 34. If she is paying down student loans, maybe she does not have much money. When I was in my early 20s, I did not have much money either. While I worked, I had very little left over after loan payments. I had many things I wanted to do but could not afford to do. Is it a possibility? Story 35. Set boundaries now. I have been with my wife for almost 9 years and have been married for 5. When we first started dating, I told her that I have my own hobbies. Gaming and hockey cannot be your sole hobby. We have a hangout schedule and it works very well for us. Story 36. I always wonder how men end up in these situations. How do you create a connection and reach the point of being in a relationship with someone who has no interests? What do you even talk about? But if she is attractive and the sex is good, then everything else may not matter. Story 37. Original poster. Every comment here is horrible and sounds like none of these people have experienced a relationship. I have been in the same situation as you. I have been with my girlfriend for nearly 6 years. What you should do is help her explore her options and find ways to motivate her to do things that interest her. It is not that she does not have any hobbies or interests because those are usually easy to find. If she is not doing anything, it is usually due to a lack of motivation to go out and find those things. I am just speaking from my experience. Story 38. Trust me, this is much better than a girl who has a lot going on. The mistake you are making here is being too passive in the relationship. When a girl wants to do things for you, give her things to do. Organize your life, get your groceries, clothing, accessories, whatever. Give her things to do. Most women are selfish and do things only for themselves. They prioritize themselves, not you. If you are lucky enough to have one who puts your interests first, that has huge value. Story 39. As someone who was in this position, it is not going to end well. Eventually, this will cause a problem down the road. Either you or her will end up feeling resentful if you are not always available, or you will lose attraction to her because she does not have anything going on. Hypothetically, if you do hang out every time she asks, eventually you might stop being the person she was attracted to. Spending so much time with her may cause you to neglect the things that made you unique. Story 40. Maybe you could try involving her in more of your hobbies or perhaps picking up new activities together. My wife and I do almost everything together because we share the same interests. We relax as friends just as much as we do as a couple. Story 41. If she is fine and you cannot hang out, then I would not worry too much, but I can understand the concern. Also, if she has no hobbies, then what does she do when you cannot hang out? It sounds like she finds something to do as she is not complaining. Story 42. Try to do a few things with her, like take her hiking or fishing, or some other activity. Maybe you can introduce her to things she will enjoy. She will find a new hobby. She should stay away from casinos and bingo. Hopefully, she never gets the gambling bug like I did. Story 43. It sounds like she is organized and prioritizes you. Be patient with her. She is clearly passionate about you, and you should feel the same way. Make sure you both verbally and physically appreciate each other. Encourage her to join a women's professional group or similar organization. I hope it works out for you. Story 44. It's not that she's clingy. You just want her to have her own activities as well. Maybe suggest some new things to try, but she needs to find what she really likes on her own. Story 45. Welcome to codependency in 2025. I have been at it since 2017. You will get used to it. Either she will catch on to what you do or you will find new hobbies. Maybe she just wants you to do the work. It is a struggle. Or she can move on to someone else like her. It sounds hurtful, but I think it is the truth. Story 46. Brother, run. She is boring and needs to develop a personality and mature. She will eventually become resentful, and you will be blamed for her not being able to grow as a person. I dated someone like this. You do not realize how great it can be until you meet someone who is independent and has life skills. Story 47. When I moved to Florida for work, I did not know anyone. One of my coworkers suggested I accompany him on his hobbies to hang out after work, and it turned out great since I was able to discover some new hobbies. The moral of the story is this. What is stopping you from getting her involved in your hobbies? Story 48. People operate at different speeds. Ask her how she feels about what you are perceiving. If she is truly happy, it is likely the way she is. If she is not, encourage her to network with people who enjoy the same activities she does, and plans will eventually materialize. Story 49. If her parents do not mind, maybe she needs a puppy to take care of. Puppies need to be walked, fed, trained, and, of course, played with. That should provide good entertainment and teach her something. Story 50. I do not mean this in a negative way, but assuming you are in a relationship heading towards marriage someday, what do you think marriage is? It is not just hanging out with your partner and doing things with them all the time. I am not saying you should never go out with your friends from time to time, but I suggest you find some hobbies and activities you both enjoy doing together. This is all assuming you are serious about this woman, of course. If you are not serious, you should probably end the relationship. Story 51. Your situation is not unique. It is common. The girlfriend still needs a life that is not centered on you. She needs hobbies and friends, or else she will just wear you out. Story 52. This is normal for a woman who likes you more than you like her. I suggest keeping yourself busy or doing something immediately after work for your own personal time. Story 53. Organize large group hangouts and hope she connects with some of your female friends or your male friends' partners to spend time together occasionally. Story 54. For me, it is all about perspective. This is behavior I would never accept from a girlfriend, but it is behavior I would cherish from my wife and future mother of my children. With a girlfriend, this behavior will not change until you get sick of it and break up. With a wife, this behavior will change when you have children. All the attention they used to give to you will now be given to the wonderful child you make together. The attention for you is temporary, and even if it is annoying, know it will not last. So enjoy it. Therefore, I would be annoyed with a girlfriend acting that way, but not with a wife. Story 55. You need a new girlfriend. She will smother and cling to you. She will not have an identity of her own and will try to make you her identity. Story 56. I do not see anything wrong with it, but maybe that is just me. She is always available for you as it should be. Story 57. Assign her tasks in your life and make them conditional on spending time together. If we work together, we will have time to watch a movie. I will pay the bills while you chop vegetables for the stir fry that I will cook later. While I am cooking, you will get my laundry from the dryer, fold it, and put it away. If you do a good job at both tasks, you will get to choose the movie we watch, and I will give you an extra reward after the movie. If you do a poor job at either task, you will receive a disciplinary consequence before we have intimacy. Next time, you prep the ingredients and she cooks. She washes the clothes and you fold and put them away. She still receives the reward or consequence, or maybe you do. Story 58. Make the most of it. Learn about tantric marathon sex. If you are going to be together all the time, you might as well do the no pants dance as much as possible. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.